All right, good day. You're welcome to the Chem Lab Chemistry lecture. Today we're going to continue our lecture on separation techniques. We're going to be looking at centrifugation and evaporation to dryness. That's what we'll be looking at today. Now, what is centrifugation? Centrifugation. Now, centrifugation is actually concerned with separating a mixture of both what solid and liquid, but this mixture of both solid and liquid has formed a solution and has become what one substance, such that you cannot differentiate between the solid that makes up that substance or the liquid that makes up the substance. Are we following now? And another thing about centrifugation is this: centrifugation is actually a technique that is usually used when you do not want to sacrifice, or when you do not want to do away with any part of the what solution. A typical example is what? Blood. We all know that the blood is made up of what? Liquid substance and what? Solid substance. The solid substance are the what? The red blood cell, the white blood cell. While the liquid substance is what we call plasma. Okay? So when you want to separate this mixture that has already become one substance, because if you look at blood, you will see that you cannot really tell whether it's made up of solid and liquid. Rather, you just conclude that it's made up of what? Liquid. Is it not so? Good. So that's why centrifugation is actually the best method to separate such what substance, because in separating such substance, you don't do away with any part of the substance. You actually make use of every part of the what substance. Now, I will tell you the reason why I am emphasizing on the fact that you don't do away with any part later on, when we get to the next separation technique, which we are going to be discussing in the course of our lecture today. But today, let's look at, first of all, centrifugation. So we said centrifugation is the separation of the particles of a solution which is made up of solid and liquid particles that are indistinguishable. So you cannot tell which is which. You just mixed and form one substance. That are indistinguishable, in which none of the particles of the solution is sacrificed, or we could say done away with. That's centrifugation. Now let's move over to what? Evaporation to what? Dryness. Now, evaporation to dryness also involves separating what? A solution that is made up of what? Solid and what? Liquid, that have mixed and have become one. Okay, that you can actually distinguish between the two. But in evaporation to dryness, one of the substance is what? Sacrificed, is done away with. So in evaporation to dryness, you only need one substance. Excuse me. You only need what? One substance out of the what? Solution. But in centrifugation, you need both substance that makes up what? The solution. Or you need all of the substance that makes up the what? Solution. But for evaporation to dryness, you only need what? One substance. So what is evaporation to dryness? Evaporation to dryness is simply what? Applying heat to dry off the liquid, leaving behind the what? Solid particles. Okay, so the liquid has been dried off, is out, is sacrificed, is done away with. leaving behind the what? Solid particles, which is the part that you actually what? Need. You get what I'm trying to say now? Good. So now, evaporation to dryness this is the separation of solid particles from a solution which is made up of solid and liquid particles that are indistinguishable but one of the particles is sacrificed, that's done away with, while the useful component is retrieved. So that's evaporation to dryness. Once again, thank you for joining us on this our lecture today. I'll see you in our next video. Now, if you learned anything and you enjoyed the lesson, please click on the subscribe button, subscribe to our channel so that you can get notification on our next video. Do have a nice day. See you in our next lecture.